Alright, so before we get into the video, I would like to ask if you could go down below and drop a like. If by the end of the video you didn't like it, you can change that to a dislike. Same thing, could you subscribe? And if by the end of the video you didn't enjoy it, you can unsubscribe. I'm really trying to push for 100 subscribers this month within November. And yeah, I'd really like it if you could help me achieve that goal. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, so before I get in the guide, I just wanted to go ahead and say I'm sorry for not having posted for a while. I also wanted to thank you guys for all the support recently. The subscribers have just been going up and up, and obviously it did slow down because I wasn't posting enough content. However, that's understandable. I just wanted to make sure before I made this guide for LYNN that I understood the character and her builds and things that you want to do for her more than I did Lady Niffle when I made my Lady Niffle guide, especially because I got a lot of feedback, some of it not very constructive, but a lot of feedback on my guide in regards to Lady Niffle. So I just wanted to make sure and take my time, as well as college and classes and stuff like that. It's the final month of the semester, so things are really starting to amp up. But getting into LYNN here, she's going to be a Pyro DPS. You can get her secret letters in the shop. She is going to want skill damage, skill duration, and skill efficiency. Not so much skill range. We'll talk about how far her skill reaches here in a little bit. We'll just go right into her skills. For her E, it's going to be Deadly Blossom, and she's going to launch forward and inflict laceration on the enemies. Now, laceration is just a status effect on them. It doesn't do damage over time or anything. It is a ramping up status effect. So the more that you hit that enemy, once again with ranged weapon damage, it's going to keep stacking up to 10 stacks. Once it gets to 10 stacks, when you get this passive right here, it'll explode immediately. Otherwise, there's a timer on it and it lasts for 8 seconds. Moving on to her ult, she's going to become stationary, and the only thing that you can use to move would be her E, and seeing as she moves forward with it. Now moving on to the ult, whenever you do damage with her ult, it is going to give you a stack, and with that stack it is going to increase your attack speed. It is going to continuously consume Sandy. Now her side node right here is going to be skill duration. Moving up to her passive right here, anytime LYNN is not shooting, she's going to gain 1 stack of preload up to 6 stacks. When shooting, it consumes all the stacks of preload to gain suppressive fire for a short period of time. Suppressive fire increases the damage based on the number of consumed preload stacks. So basically, there's going to be a little thing down here at the bottom of the screen right there, and as you can see, it's starting to tick up and load every bit that I'm not shooting. Once it's fully loaded, the next time I shoot, that's going to do more damage.
Who's the target today?
So you want to make sure and wait until that is up for maximum damage, and try and weave Deadly Blossom and Laceration in there within your ultimate attack. It isn't going to be her main source of damage, however it is going to be a decent little chunk of damage on top. So if you have her built right and you can stay on her ult for a while, you can go ahead and weave that in there for extra damage. Moving on to the melee weapons that you're going to want for her, the Wainwraith right here is given for free, and this is a great option. It's going to give you skill damage. Now otherwise, you're going to want to look for anything that gives you skill efficiency or skill duration, such as this. One thing I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is this weapon right here. I feel like this would be pretty good with her. It's going to give you max HP, which isn't going to be all that useful. However, when you consider that she is mobile within her ult, that max HP is going to be a little helpful. As well as when the character takes damage, grants 15% skill duration per 8 seconds up to 3 stacks. So at a base level, that can be up to 45% skill duration just from taking damage. And if you can't move, you're going to take a little bit of damage. So I'm not exactly sure the calculations on how good this exactly would be. I feel like this would be pretty good. Otherwise, you can just stick with the good old Wainwraith right here that's going to do skill damage. If you don't want to use the skill duration or skill damage, then you can just go with this one right here. It's going to give you character attack. This one isn't a bad option if you don't want to use anything else. However, it isn't going to be her best. Moving on to her ranged weapons. Her best ranged weapon is going to be the Blue Current Pulse right here. This is craftable. It's going to give you 15% skill duration. The shots are going to bounce. However, right here, when dealing damage with this weapon, increase dual pistols damage by 45%. So in order to get the maximum out of her damage, make sure to shoot with this first, and then for the next 15 seconds, she'll be dealing more damage, seeing as her consonance weapon is dual pistols. Now, once again, just like with her melee weapons, anything that is going to give you skill duration is going to be good. Skill range isn't going to be needed as much, and there isn't really any skill damage ones within this category. So your really options are going to be skill duration or skill range. And then coming back over here, because I didn't cover it, here in her skill range, if you come over here, it's going to be a max firing range of 50 meters, and that is going to be her skill range. Now, that is quite a decent chunk of range, so you don't really need to build for that skill range. However, if for whatever reason you feel like you're not hitting enemies as far away as you really want to, that is always going to be a good option. Moving on to the genie mons for her, the Pyrotel is going to be a great one right here. It is going to increase the skill duration for self and allies by 20 seconds when you click on it. And then the passive skill is going to be increase the pyro attack for the main character and the combat partners by 1.6 and stats provided by demon wedges prefixed with phoenix by 0.06. This is going to be a good option. However, any other ones such as this one is going to be okay, not as good as the other one. However, this is going to give you some sanity as well as a pyro attack, and anything that is really going to give you pyro or just attack stuff in general is going to be good.
Who's the target today?
Moving on to the demon wedges that you're going to want to use. I don't have all of them. However, I can go ahead and go over the ones that I have currently, seeing as some of these will have purple variants, as well as I can just go into the book and show you. So starting off with the ones that I do have, this one right here, which is pretty good. It's going to give me attack and skill efficiency. I have this one right here, which is going to give me skill damage, and then when a pyro character deals damage, gains 1 stack that increases attack by 1%, or for 15 seconds up to 120 stacks. So this is going to be continuously stacking as she's doing damage within her ult, just ramping up my damage more and more. Another good one is going to be this one. I believe there is a purple version of it that is going to have another stat line. However, anything that has pyro attack in it, you are going to want to look for. That is going to be great. And in general, for her demon wedges, again, it's already highlighted for you right here. You're going to want to look for anything skill damage, anything skill duration, and anything skill efficiency. Now, skill efficiency, what that is going to do is it is going to reduce the sanity cost per cast of your skills, and that is going to include your continual firing within her ult. So in effect, your skill efficiency for LYNN is also going to be your skill duration in a way, because it's going to let you stay within your ult for a lot longer because you're using less, as well as less initial sanity to cast it. Here in her middle slot, I just have this one right here, which is going to be when I perform a dodge, just going to deal pyro damage. Nice and simple. These aren't really all that important yet. I don't feel like their main purpose is just going to be that they increase your character's tolerance. Now, moving on to what you want for her melee weapon. Nothing really here. You're not really going to be using her melee weapon, so you can really just throw anything on here. Nothing is really going to change anything. However, if you are using the polearm, you can put on the demon wedge that is going to transform your polearm's charge attack into a dash attack for extra movement to get around the domains quicker. Same kind of thing here for the dual pistols. Not really much here that you're going to be doing a lot of damage with, so you can really throw on whatever. Although I will say these dual pistols do a decent bit of damage on LYNN, and if you ever run out of sanity and need to build it back up, you are going to mainly be using these. So you can just go ahead and build it with attack, crit damage, crit chance, things like that. I also have some on here that is going to increase my attack speed after I reload for a little bit. So little niche ones like that that'll give a special bonus are going to be pretty good. Moving on to her consonance weapon demon wedges. Right now I have on attack speed, I have on crit damage, attack, as well as crit chance. Now moving on to her combat partners that you can use for her. Really, my team that I'm enjoying a lot for her right now is going to be Tebeth as well as Margie. I'm really enjoying Tebeth and Margie for her right now. However, is a couple of different options for you. You can go Margie as well as Truffle and Filbert, because Truffle and Filbert over here with her E, it is going to give you at level 6 a 61% damage boost that is going to last for 8.4 seconds, which that is going to be affected if you click on it right here by her skill duration. So you can go ahead and slap a skill duration weapon on her as your combat partner. Moving on to Margie, you don't really need to build her at all whatsoever. So one thing that I do like to put on Margie, since she's one that you don't really have to build, is going to be this one. However, it does have the skill duration substat, so you might want to save that for Truffle and Filbert, and then you can just put on whatever on her. Tebeth is going to increase your skill damage through her skills, not only through her combat partner skill right there, but also this buffing right here. When her tentacles are summoned, it's going to increase her damage as well as boost the skill damage. Right here at level 6, it is going to be a 36% increase for 0.68 seconds affected by her skill duration, and then right here it is going to be a 8% boost. Another good partner for LYNN is going to be the main character, seen as the buffer. This right here is going to increase weapon damage as well. That counts for LYNN's ult, so that is going to be a good setup. So as you can see there, you have a couple different options. You have 4 different characters, 2 of which are given to you right out the gate. Not much you got to do. Truffle and Filbert is given to you just a little bit further into the story. So really, with this team, you have 3 different options for very early, and then you have one grindable character in the form of Duet. If you do use Margie and Truffle and Filbert, you are going to proc this extra passive right here, which is going to give you more resolve, which I feel like is going to be pretty good in order to stay in that ult. However, that is a trade-off that you have to think of in terms of what you really want for your damage. Margie is going to give you a ton of attack. Truffle and Filbert is going to give you just a straight damage boost. Duet is going to give you a skill damage boost, and then main character is going to give you a weapon damage boost. So you can mix and match however you feel, depending on who you want to use, which characters you prefer, which characters you like. So that is going to be all of those. Now I will go over the demon wedges right here. Coming over here for the character demon wedges, if we scroll down right here, Griffin's Inferno Midnight Sun. This is the one I was talking about. This is going to be good. It's going to give you pyro attack, skill damage, and skill duration. This is going to be amazing. This is everything you want for LYNN right here. This one right here also wouldn't be bad. It's going to increase your damage dealt by 6% per dual pistols equipped by you or your combat partner, up to 18%. So this is going to be just a little bit of a damage boost for you right there. Otherwise, you're just going to want to look for anything that is going to give you attack, skill damage, skill efficiency, or skill duration. These are all going to be good demon wedges that you can go for. Over here for the range consonance weapons, some other ones that are going to be the different attacks. Now for the range consonance weapons, over here you're going to have different purple ones, and these ones are bought at the Spindle of Fate. So that is going to be the Mystic Maze. Spike attack is going to be the one you want. That's the damage that her pistols do. Otherwise, you could go for multi-shot or trigger probability. However, like I said, I decided to go for these ones. I haven't done any testing, so damage and numbers wise, I don't know which one is best. It's just going to be up to you. However, I would recommend keeping the attack percent and the attack speed. You can't get much better than that. For your demon wedges, for your support characters, really the only one that you're going to be looking for that's going to make a big difference is going to be Prime Serenity. Go ahead and slap that on both of your combat partners, whichever ones you're using. Alright, so to go ahead and recap here, you're going to want to weave in her E as much as you can if you can afford it. Her ult is going to ramp up attack speed the longer you stay in it. Her passive is going to charge up when you're not doing damage, so make sure to go ahead and wait a little bit before you do damage and make sure that it's charged up. Combat partners is going to be Truffle and Filbert, Duet, Margie, or the main character. For the weapons is going to be skill damage or anything skill duration, or if you don't have any of those, don't want to use any of those because you already have it on other characters, you can go ahead and use this one that is going to give you attack, not going to be your best. For range weapons, best is going to be Blue Current Pulse. However, if you don't want to use that, anything with skill duration will do. The Genimon, anything that gives you pyro, especially this one right here. The Pyro Tail is going to be amazing. Demon wedges, you're going to want to look for anything skill damage, skill duration, skill efficiency, and pyro attack. And yeah, that's going to be it for my LYNN guide. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and make sure and let me know down in the comments below which character you'd like to see a guide for next. I am still working on catching up to a lot of the end game and stuff like that, and just catching my characters up. As you probably saw when I was going through the demon wedges, I still don't have a lot unlocked. I am at level 52, slowly trucking along, trying to make my way there so that way I can make better guides for you and do showcases and things like that. However, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, like I said, let me know what else you want to see from the channel. Let me know what other character guides you might want to see, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.